I've re-recorded this video about 8 times now, and this 8th attempt, I want it to be the final attempt to make this one right. You'll notice that it feels somewhat scripted, more precise than the videos I've developed in the past. I had to. I had to do it for my sanity as a creator and my belief in the strength of my recordings. I will not let my pursuit of perfectionism ruin my streak of excellence. My perverted idea of what my absolute peak performance would be without errors will not stop me from getting this video out on time. Lust. The discussion of this sin is riddled with a multitude of variation, but the most common one that I have seen is about sexual desire. It's about the perverted want of intimacy, how society fails its people and drives them to goon. But lust is not that simple. Lust is a sinful perversion of desire. It is a gateway into the 7 sins. It begins small, justifying itself as this little shortcut for intimacy, power, or wealth. And once the first seed is placed, you start looking for those shortcuts everywhere. It shapes and molds what we initially view in a pure lens into a muddied and misshapen block of sludge. Lust is the weakest of sins, until it is the only sin you are fighting. Where do I even begin to describe this sin? If it is simply about pleasure of the flesh, then it's easy to ignore, but it's not. It is not just about the bedroom. It's about so much more. It really does affect how we pursue relationships. You know, nobody wants to feel alone. Nobody wants to be alone. Everyone wants to desires love in some capacity. And that manifests in a want for a girlfriend, a significant other that you can spend time with. You may meet somebody, and initially they could just be a sort of friend for you, just a simple person in your life that you get along with quite well. You agree with them or disagree in a friendly manner that is productive to a bond of friendship. But if you were not willing to accept just the friendship and that desire for love, for wanting a relationship of sorts, you're wanting a romantic relationship instead of a platonic one, it can lead to a negative outcome. It can ruin a friendship. I experienced that myself. At the time, someone who I would have thought to be my best friend, I fell for them partially. She was an amazing friend. We got along so well, and we understood each other quite well, I'd say. But because at the time I was dealing with so much more, and because of external factors, it really affected that relationship, and it ruined the platonic friendship that we had. How that sucks to look back on, but it's the truth, and I'm not going to hide from the truth just because I'm a little hurt by it. And after that, it affected how I picked my next relationship. I won't get into the details of it, but this isn't just me that this kind of thing affects. Terrible people will take advantage of that want for a relationship, of that want for love. They will take advantage of that growing perverted desire of intimacy and abuse it for their own pleasure. You will be discarded as nothing more than a toy, an object, and you might not be able to say no because you don't want to be alone, because what if they could change? What if? You'll throw yourself into something that would destroy you because you see this what if it was better? It won't be better. Nothing stronger than a what if on lust. And once that fails and you start looking at other relationships, you think, why not me? Why don't I get to feel that love that everyone else feels? Why don't I get to feel that greatness that everyone else has? And it's not until you slow down and stop and think for a minute that what you are doing is it's damaging you as a person. You're not going to feel that. And until you recognize that, you're just going to be mashing the reward button and succumbing to lust around you, to those temptations that have been brought on like I said earlier, how society just pushes for the goon because you're scared to actually develop that bond, that connection. And you think about just one aspect. But love is not just a single aspect of romantic life. Love is not just a single aspect called the romantic aspect. It is also the platonic aspect. It is the bond that drives us to be better. Look at the brotherhood that is love. The love that a person feels for their brothers, their sisters, their family, their friends. That is something that is pure, that is truly holy. And lust will pervert that. And it will do it without you even realizing it. If you are not careful, if your pride. But there's more to it. When I was talking about how you will begin to envy relationships that you see is going well. Not only that, but you'll envy those in power. And you'll start lusting for that power. You may desire to be a leader in your community. Say your fraternity, you desire to be a leader. If you're not careful, that desire will turn into a lust for power and destroy the bond that you have and become a lust for power, and you will force control, for you will want people to believe in your strength, but they won't. And so you'll control or try to control how they think. And it will lead to you being nothing more than a tyrant. You will be nothing more than a whelp, pathetic enough to beg for power. You think that you have a proper, truthful understanding of power, but no, it was a lusted commodity. And you begin to treat your followers like objects, like resources, nothing more than a means to an end, and they will dislike you. They will not appreciate your existence. They will begin to resent you. And if you're not careful, it will bleed into the other things. It becomes a sludge that you cannot shape. A sludge that, and now that you have that position of power, only then will your lust begin to worsen more and more. If we look at what it is, hookup culture has led to what cheating culture is. And cheating culture is a product of lust. It's a product of a messy, disgusting bout for control, that false sense of what power is, lusting for control over another human being simply for the sake of pleasure. It's disgusting. And recognizing this, I think, is the first step to breaking free from it. Recognizing that lust can have such a massive control over our lives in this manner of not just the sexual, but also the material, of also power. You should always want to be better. You should always strive to push past this, to break free from such a sin. But you can't break free from a sin like this without denouncing your pride. Because your pride will hold you back and push you to the depths of hell.